Hey there, my name is Megan and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a book review for Contagion by Erin Bowman. Contagion is the first book in a YA sci-fi duology, and I've never read anything by Erin Bowman, so she's a new to me author, and I'm so glad I picked it up. This book was loads of fun. The way that I normally structure my book reviews is I discuss the plot of the book, some things that I liked, some things that I didn't like, and then I give the book an overall rating and let you know if I think you should read it. I will put timestamps down below if you're interested in skipping to any one of those particular sections. The setting of Contagion is intergalactic, and it involves a couple of different galaxies and their planets within, and we're following a main character named Thea, and Thea is an orphan, and she ends up becoming an intern to this famous scientist who is employed by this corporation known as Hvet's Corporation, and they mine this mineral that helps power intergalactic travel. And they basically prospect on different worlds to see if they're able to find the substance. So Thea is interning for the scientist who is studying the substance. Due to severe weather, Thea and the scientist she's working for ends up having to evacuate the post where they're located, and Hvet's decides to send them on a rescue mission with a couple of other people to the Fringe, which is this group of planets that is it's not inhabitable, they're very hostile environments, but Hvet has at one point or another set up mining operations there. So Thea, this pilot named Nova, her cousin Sullivan, a mechanic named Toby, and then the scientist Elizabeth Tarlow end up responding to Hvet's telling them to go to Black Quarry because Black Quarry has sent out an SOS that something is going wrong. So from the get-go, it's kind of weird that they would choose these people to respond to an SOS beacon. And it's supposedly the case that Hvet's is going to be sending in like a more professional rescue mission. They just want this group of people to respond first to see what's going on. So Thea and Nova, our two main point of views, find themselves on this planet investigating what's going on. So when they get there, they realize that the Black Quarry base has been destroyed and no one is left alive. So they start to investigate everything that's going on. And it actually unleashes a lot of secrets about the corporation Hvet's, about Elizabeth Tarlow and the scientific research that she's doing, as well as some things going on in the politics of this world related to this mining operation and relating to the United Planetary Coalition and how they are exploiting some of the planets in different systems. That is the overview of the book's plot. Now I'm going to jump into the things that I liked. So this book overall was just very, very accessible for a sci-fi book. So if you are someone that wants to dip their toes into sci-fi, especially like space opera type stuff, I think this is a great series to get you started because it provides just enough scientific elements for you to understand what's going on without bogging the reader down with all of the details. So in my opinion, this is what's different between YA sci-fi and adult sci-fi. Same thing with fantasy. For example, the audiobook for this book was 10 hours. If I were to read like a James S.A. Corey book, it would be 20-something hours. So the science is very minimal, but it's easy to understand. I really felt like I was on an adventure in this book and that I was on this planet with this crew as they are trying to identify what happened. The world was just very well crafted for a YA book and just drew me in so much. And to be honest, this book was just a lot of fun. I didn't want to put it down. I read through it super quickly. It was a fun space adventure with a little bit of mystery, and it's what I needed right now in my life, and I really just goggled it up. As for the things that I didn't like with this book, I'm going to focus mostly on the lack of originality and the tropes. So this is a story that has been done over and over again where people go into space and they encounter this alien species, whether it is a bacteria or a parasite, and it infects the humans. And it's so funny because I was literally reading this book and my husband was watching Halo, the TV show. And in Halo, the TV show, the characters on the show had been infected by this parasite and they were turning into these like zombie-like beings, and like stuff was coming out of their body parts and like attacking people. And I'm like reading, looking at the show, reading, looking at the show. And I told my husband, I'm like, this is exactly what's happening in my book. So my point is that this is nothing new. This storyline is nothing new. It's been done a million times in books and TV shows and movies. And if you are looking for something that is outside of the box, that is just new and fresh and original, then this isn't necessarily it. But if this is a trope that you really enjoy, where you have, space adventures that are on a new planet that has some sort of even evil alien-like life on it, then this would be for you. However, I am currently reading the sequel, Immunity, and I'm about 120 pages in, and I really am enjoying how Erin Bowman is expanding on this idea. So stay tuned for my review of that book, because I might kind of change my opinion on how tropey this overall story is, depending on how she executes the second half of the story. Another thing that I really disliked, and I'm going to include a little spoiler, so I'll let you know what I'm going to spoil, but there was just some characters in this book that were just blatantly stupid. Blatantly stupid. And one of them's name was Dylan Lowe, and she was the captain of this whole operation. And she was young, and her father was the reason that she was in that position to begin with. And every decision that she made for this crew literally put them in danger. And it was her fault, for the most part, in my opinion, that what happened to them happened to them. And I hated her so much. She was probably, like, not a badly written character, because, like, I think the author wanted the reader to be infuriated by her, but in my opinion, I don't think anybody could be that stupid and be in a position of authority or command in that type of precarious military situation. I don't know, maybe. But here's where the spoiler happens. So Dylan dies. I'm usually not happy when a character dies unless they're like an evil character, but Dylan died. And I was so happy that Dylan died, because our main character, Nova, had like a relationship with Dylan. She liked her or whatever. And I was like, I don't think I could read this book if Dylan and Nova, I don't care like if they're a couple, but Dylan is just, oh, she's a horrible person and she's stupid. I was so glad when she died. But I guess this just shows that the author was able to write the characters so well, enough for me to absolutely hate her. And I also don't think it was very realistic, because, like I said, I don't think any person in charge could be that idiotic. And this kind of drops me back to another part of the story that I found really unrealistic, was the time frame that this crew was on this planet. Because at one point, Thea says it's only been 7 hours. And I'm like, no, that is not possible. 7 hours is not enough time for you to investigate this deserted ship, to drive to a drilling site, to investigate this cavern, to investigate like this part of the planet. Like 7 hours for all of this to happen? No. So the timeline for me wasn't very realistic. I would say like 27 hours would have been more realistic, so that kind of threw me. But I think that just might have been an oversight from the author when she was writing the story. Contagion was, like I said, a super fun space adventure book. So tropey, yes. Fun, absolutely. And I'm really enjoying the sequel so far that I've read. So I would recommend this book if you're someone who enjoys a very quick, fun sci-fi read that doesn't get too bogged down by the scientific details. And I ended up giving Contagion a 3.5 out of 5 stars. All right, you guys, let me know in the comments if you read this book and what you thought of it, or if you have any other recommendations that are similar, and I will see you all in another video soon. Goodbye.